Hey everyone, this is Heidi coming to you from sunny Florida. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is episode 25. Today is Monday, November 21st, and it's a few days before Thanksgiving. Today I will be talking about some knitting, some crochet, and some cross stitch. And you can find me, other than YouTube, on Ravelry and Instagram as Yarn Heidi. Today is a cloudy, rainy day here in Florida, and I have to be honest with you, I'm a little bit under the weather. I just came back from a little mini vacation, and I caught a cold. I'm all congested, and my throat hurts. I took a COVID test. That's negative, thank goodness, because we're going to see family for Thanksgiving. So I'm a little bit under the weather. I have some exciting news to tell you that starting in December 1st, which is Advent season for all of us knitters and crocheters, where we get a bunch of little minis or stitch markers. Starting December 1st, you get to open a little package every day until December 25th. And then a lot of times you get something bigger on that day. So I wanted to get on the bandwagon. I've gotten my Advents to do that, but I also want to do a make-along. So I reached out to another podcaster. Her name is Carla, and her podcast is Carla Knits. I love it. I always watch her. She's a lot of fun. She's sweet, and I like that her podcast is short and sweet. So we reached out, we said, hey, let's do a make-along. And so we decided to do an Advent make-along. And what that's going to entail is deciding December 1st, when you open up your Advents, or if you have minis, you don't even need to have an Advent. If you have a lot of minis in your stash, come join us and make something that you want with your minis or your Advents. And we're going to have this make-along until the end of January, like January 31st. So make whatever you want. It could be socks, it could be a cowl, it could be a scarf, it could be a hat, anything with your minis. And then when you're done, we want your finished projects. I'm going to have a hashtag with Instagram, and Carla's going to have a thread in her Ravelry group, which is Carla Knits, and you can put in your finished object there all until January 31st. So I was like, what can I do? Well, I'm going to use an Advent that I had last year that I never did anything with. So I'm going to use that instead because I have plans for my new Advent that's coming out. My new Advent is with Ruby and Roses, and she designed a pattern that you could do with your Advent. So I'm going to save that Advent for that project. And then I'm going to use last year's Advent to make this year's make-along with all you guys who are interested. So I will post all this information in the details. I'll put something on Instagram. So I hope you can join us. It's for fun. And then at the end, you'll get, we'll pick a winner in both the hashtag on Instagram and on the Ravelry group. So come join us. I decided, I hope it'll work out. If it doesn't, I can do something else. I really love this. I looked on Instagram, and it's an Advent wrap. And I love it because it's almost like making a shawl, but then you put holes in it. So it's called an Advent wrap by Iris H. I don't know her last name, but I think that's what it is on Ravelry. Isn't that pretty? So I'll see how that works out. And if not, I'll just do something else. I could always do socks with my minis. I could do I've seen plenty of cowls, so I'll figure it out. But I really want to do this. I think it's really pretty. And here in Florida, I could definitely use something over me when I go into air conditioning. So that's what's happening. So come join us for our make-along. So with that being said, let's get started on what I have. No finished objects. I have so many things on the needles that they all take time, and I can't get them done. It's too long. But I do have a half-finished object, and this is my Scrappy Socks. This is just my pattern that I'm just using. They're toe up socks. I use this color for the toe, the heel, and the cuff. And I think I'm doing like 5 rows for each color and 6 different colors. I'm doing 5 rows. I think I did for the foot like 80 rows and then 40 rows for the leg. And a cuff, I think I did 20 rows of 2x2 ribbing. On a size 1, doing this with 2 circular needles, my favorite way. For the heel, I did an afterthought heel. But I just want to tell you something. This drives me crazy when I'm changing colors. You could see a little bit of a gap. But I looked up on YouTube of ways to try to close that. And I found a great method. See, you could see all this gap in here. Let's see if I can see it close. See that? But as I learned a new way, up here, it's better. Not so much seeing that gap. And that is, you pick up the leg of the stitch below. First you do the round of the change in color. You change the color, you do 1 round of that. When you come around again, on the first stitch, you pick up the stitch below, just 1 leg of the stitch below, and you knit that together with the stitch on the needle. And I find that's been closing the gap. So, that's what I did on this, only halfway through, so I have a little bit of a change here. But on the second pair, which I started, that's how I'm going to do it throughout. And let's see what the end result is. Let's see if that makes a big difference. Okay, I'll be right back. Hold on. Hey, I'm back. I had to give myself a shot of my inhaler with this cold and everything like that and the rainy weather. It's affecting me. So I felt I was getting wheezy. So I took a shot and here I'm back on. I wanted to podcast this because I'm not going to podcast for a couple of weeks. And I wanted to get out there about the make-along that we're having with the Advents. So here I am. Take me as I am. Okay, so that was my sock, my Scrappy sock. Let's see how the second one comes out so I don't have that ridge on it. Let's see if I have it. Hold on. I started it. Let's see how it's going. Not much, so you can't see much yet. I really love doing Scrappy Socks. It is addicting and you don't get bored with it because you're changing colors so frequently. Okay, so I finally did that. The next one is, I've been working on this mandala afghan that I got through Annie's. It's an Annie kit and it's like an Aran weight and it's getting huge. Look at it, it's getting really big. And this is only part 1 of the afghan. There's 10 parts to this. So I'm done with part 1. It is going to be huge. And it's so much fun. All these different stitches that I've never did with crochet. I'm using a size H for the next part. The first part was a size G. And now the second part is going to be with an H with my beautiful furls hook. Now the second part I want to show you. The second part is making flowers and attaching it. Look. A string of flowers. And you know how many of these I have to make? I have to make 36 of them. Ooh. But the good news is they only take about 5 to 10 minutes to make. It's very simple to make and you attach them. The videos tell you everything to do with this pattern. And eventually I'm going to have to attach this to this baby. So I really am being led by the tutorials. They have written pattern on it, but the video is so much easier for me, especially since I'm not the greatest crocheter. I need help being a lefty, and they give you instructions for a lefty. So I just watched the video, and believe me, I've had to rip out a couple of times with Rose to get it straight. But that's what I'm doing on my crochet, making all these flowers. How many do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 flowers so far. I got a ways to go with that. So that's my crochet project. The next one is I started gift knitting. Well, throughout the year, I really do gift knitting, and I just tuck it away for when I need to give a gift. But I wanted to make more hats, and I love the brioche hat I made for somebody once before, a pink and black one. And now I'm going to make this turquoise and black one. Let me take the holder off. I'm dropping everything today. I'm sorry. I'm just not myself. I'm a little off, but I wanted to podcast. So here it is, the hat that I'm making. It's called the Brioche Starter Hat by Raina Koos on Ravelry. I think it's a free pattern. It's a good beginner hat, but still, brioche is tricky. This didn't go so smoothly as of yesterday, and I should have learned my lesson. But let me first tell you about the yarn. It's Malabrigo Arroyo. It's a DK weight yarn. The size that I'm using for the bottom, the cast on, you start with a size, I did a size 2, and I went up to a 3 for the rest of the body. Okay, this didn't go so smoothly. I got all the way up to like 6.5 inches, and then you start the decreases. So I was away, and I said, oh, I'll just read the description of the decreases. Bad mistake. I should have watched the video. And I made a boo-boo. Something dropped, and the next thing you know, I had to go back, tink. Not frog is just going rip it all out. I tinked it all the way back, because with brioche, you got to be super duper careful. So I went back almost 2 inches, or maybe 1.5 inches, to fix that mistake. And if you drop a stitch, which I did, I was able to pick it up, but still, it didn't look right. I had to go back so many times. That just shows me I should not have done it with company around. It was while I was away. I shouldn't have tried the new technique to decrease. I should have waited till I got home to watch the video. It's all on me. So I'm back on track though. I still have to do the 1.5 inches to what I lost before. And then now that I'm home, I will watch the video on how to decrease on brioche. To be honest with you, even though this is a brioche starter hat, the decreases from the one I did before is harder than doing anything else. So I gotta watch the video. So that's my brioche. Anything else I want to tell you about that? Nope, that's it. The colors, I lost the label. I don't know what happened to it. They're brand new skeins, and I lost them, but black and like a turquoise, so pretty. And what's cool about brioche, if nobody's ever done it before, is it could be two-sided. Here's the first side where black is the main color and turquoise is the contrast, and on the other side, the turquoise is the the main color, and black is the contrast. So everybody has been commenting on me that they love the colors, and I love them too. It is appealing. So that's my newest on the needles that I just put on. Then, because I was going away, all my projects are big and complicated. I said I better start socks because I could do that anywhere. So that's what I did. Just, let me get them. And I got pretty far considering. Just like vanilla socks with this cool yarn. I love how it's pooling. See how it's pooling? So this was definitely in my stash. I don't even know where I got this yarn from. The main part of the yarn, I'm working on the leg. By the way, I'm doing cuff down on Magic Loop size 1. And I'm trying to perfect my sock making. For some reason, when I make socks, the cuff part is always loose on me. And the leg part is okay, fits nice and snug, but it drives me crazy that the cuff is loose. So what I said is, let me cast on 48 stitches for the cuff, and then I'll do 1 round of a rapid increase to get it up to the 56 stitches for a size small. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to check it out. When I'm done, I'm going to see if it makes a difference to have a smaller cuff. So that is what is happening here. The main color is made by Blue Moon Fiber Arts, and their base is Socks That Rock. And then I just realized when I was writing down my notes that this is 100% superwash merino. I did not know that it didn't have any nylon on it. but it says Socks That Rock, so I'm thinking it's made for socks. The colorway is Mystic Kelp. I hope it will last because there's no nylon in it. And, you know, I hope they'll be stretched. But right now it's knitting pretty big. And I have a little acorn progress keeper here. And for those who don't know, I mark every 10 rows that I do to keep an eye. I used to do 2 at a time, but I did not feel like splitting the yarn and all of that. And I want them to match. So I just did magic loop. And I'll do them each separately. So I'll keep these markers on until I do the second one so I know how many rows I did on the first sock. And I'm using out of my stash a mini for the cuff, toes, and heel. I think that will look good together. So far, I really love the look. Sometimes the yarn does all the talking for you. You don't have to do a pattern. You just do vanilla socks, and look how pretty it looks. So anyway, that will probably be a gift. I'll see how if it's a flop with the way it fits, I keep it. If it's really nice, I'll give it to somebody else. So that's my other newest work in progress. The last thing I have is a cross-stitch project that I'm making as a gift too. And let me show you the chart or the look of it. It says, Beach Please, all these little motifs. And it's by Hands-On Design, who designed it. And I'll show you how far I've gotten. It's really a quick stitch. A little boater's wheel. I see, what else do I see? A lighthouse, a pelican, a sand dollar, so many, and oars. This is fun to make. See how close? Let me see if I can get it close. Each motif is so cute to make, and they go quickly. I'm really enjoying this. And I'm going to have it finished by the cross-stitch shop because I am just not good at finishing. So that's my cross-stitch. It's on, it's a very thick linen. I think is it 32? It might be 32, but it's very thick. And you can see the holes better. And because I love hearts, I have a heart needle minder. That's where you hold your needle when you're not using it. And or you're changing threads. You put your needle on there and it stays because it's magnetic. So that's my cross stitching. I may do that because I did a lot of knitting this weekend. Maybe to change it up. That's what I love about having a few different hobbies. I can change it up and I don't get bored. I'm just going to take a sip of my orange juice, trying to knock this cold out. Okay, so that is all that I have now that I'm going to show you. There's other works in progress. Long, didn't give that much love on it, but I'll get to them whenever I can. Right now, I have to concentrate on making the gifts and finishing things off. And that's the beauty of this hobby. We do what we want whenever we want, and it eventually gets done. Okay, so I'm going to show you a couple of acquisitions. Okay, the first one is another advent, but it is a stitch marker advent. I'm not going to show you it because it's not December 1st. Like, I'm not going to show you inside or what each bag has in it. I'm just going to show you the presentation. This advent calendar is a stitch marker from Heidi and Lana. This is how they sent it in a bow in this bag, which is nice because you can keep this bag as a notions bag or keep all your stitch markers. I might do that. And inside are all the different days. Let's see. Each one has, this is number 1, has a stitch marker in it. I can't wait to open it. Thank goodness that I have a little patience because I really want to open it. So this is from Heidi and Lana, their advent calendar for stitch markers. But I did a boo-boo. I forgot that I ordered from Heidi and Lana. Meanwhile, I have another stitch marker advent coming from Adore Knit. That's on its way. When I saw an alert come up on my phone, oh, it's on its way, I didn't know that I ordered. I totally forgot. But you know what? It's a good surprise. It's nothing bad. So when that comes in, I'll show you guys if it comes in time before Advent. The other thing that I got is I'm participating in Sockmas hosted by Natalie from Nitty Natty and Love and Stitches. So she is doing a Sockmas, which is a 3-week long sock along. And you could do a pair of socks in any kind of holiday theme, or it could be Hanukkah, it could be Christmas, it could be Kwanzaa, whatever you want, or it could just be any holiday. And you make a pair in 3 weeks, and then you'll post it on, I don't know if she has a Google form for it. I think she's now doing a Google form when you complete it. So I bought something from the sponsor that's sponsoring her for the Sockmas. I already bought the sock bag. I showed it to you a few weeks ago from the White Rose Fiber Company. And now I got the sock sponsor from Mandy's Makings. And this is called the Handmade Ornaments. So I'm going to do a sock pattern on this. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. There's a couple of sock patterns out, one by Twin Stitches that I was interested in, and then the Crazy Sock Lady. That one, her newest one that she's designing, Candy Cane or something, that looks so good too. I don't know which one to do. I'll have to make a decision soon because Sockmas starts the Friday after Thanksgiving. Oh, the problems I have, they're unbelievable. It's really just. So that's the sock that I got. It's 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon and 462 yards. I don't know what to do with it. I don't know which pattern to do. Then I'll go on to life. I got another acquisition, but I'll tell you about it first after I talk about life. See, I'm all over the place today. I just don't feel well, but I'll get better. Almost done. So this weekend, we went away to New Orleans. And my family tries to do a trip once a year, my siblings. And this year we picked New Orleans. Now, I've never been to New Orleans. I've never been to Louisiana. So I can check that off my list. And New Orleans is a fun place. It has like this fun, cool vibe about it. A lot of streets with shops. The big thing about New Orleans is their food, which I have to be honest with you, it's not my cup of tea. I don't like all those gravies, and I don't like hot stuff. But what I did have was good. I had like a gumbo, which is big there. Everything is like biscuits and gravy. I don't like that, but Bill likes it, and it was fun to try it out. I only wanted to try out the local stuff anyway. So the first day that we got there was at nighttime, so we didn't do much. But the second, we went on what they call is hop and stop, something like that. It's like you go on this bus and you can get on and off wherever you want, and then you at the end of the day, they just take you back. So you go on and off. I'll insert a picture of me on the is it hop and stop? I forget. Anyway, I have a picture of me going there, so we saw all of New Orleans by going through that. I didn't know that there was so many different sections of New Orleans. There's certainly so much shopping to do. So we did that, and then we got off to have lunch. Then we got back on, headed back, and did some more sightseeing on that bus. And then we got back to our place. We had a beautiful Airbnb. That was the coolest place I've ever been to. On the ceiling, they had like wheels of a bicycle, plenty of that. I'll insert at the end of this video. I'm going to put some pictures of New Orleans. There's jazz singers and jazz players with the saxophone all over. I went to the Cafe du Monde, which is pretty popular there. I went with my brother at like 9 o'clock in the morning. It wasn't a line. By 11 o'clock, there was a line down the street. We got lucky, and we didn't have any wait at all. So we got what is very famous there as beignets. To me, when I got them, they're really like zeppelis. I don't know if anybody's ever had zeppelis before. It's like fried dough, then you dip it into confectioner's sugar, and that's it. So the beignets were just like that. But as I was going more and more into New Orleans, and the days, the hours were passing, I was seeing that people were eating these beignets with things stuffed in it, like chocolate filled in it, or praline filled into the beignet. So I had to have one of them. So that's another big thing in New Orleans is pralines. I don't know why, but every store had like praline pecans, and like pecans coated with maple syrup and sugar. So I went to a few shops with that, and they give you out samples. They all tasted the same to me, but it was delicious. So I bought some of that. So the first day we did this hop and stop with everybody. The next day we went, before that, there was also right on the main square in the French Quarter, the St. Louis Cathedral, which was a beautiful cathedral there. So we went into that, and we checked that out. The next day, everybody wanted to go to the World War II Museum. I opted out on that because I knew with the World War II Museum, it was going to be hours. Myself, I would just have looked around for about an hour, found a bench, and ended up knitting. But they were there for hours. I said, you guys have fun. I'm going to go shopping into the French Quarter and all those little shops I didn't get to do yet. So, which I had a blast. The only bad thing was it was raining cats and dogs. So I got an umbrella, and I still went into shops and shops. So I definitely heard about the yarn shop in the French Quarter called the Quarter Stitch. So I had to go there, and since nobody was with me, they all went to the World War II Museum. I was like, good, I don't have to be rushed. So I went into the Quarter Stitch, which was a quaint little shop in the French Quarter, and they had all these different yarns, and they had a big section for needlepoint and a small section for cross stitch. I really didn't find any yarn that I was looking for. I was trying to find local yarn, but she didn't have much of that in stock, and I really didn't need all the other, companies, Madeline Taj, Malabrigo. I have all that. I wanted to try a local yarn. So I said, forget that, but I did go look at the cross stitch. And when I go into a cross stitch shop, especially if it's in a new area, I try to find something that I could stitch up that will remind me of the place I've been to. So I found something. I found this Mardi Gras mask, and it says on it, Mardi Gras, New Orleans. Perfect. And they had a sample up on on their wall, and it was all used with like Krynic or shimmery type thread, which I hate using. It splits, it's hard to thread, it's not good for the needles, but I sucked it up and I said, I want the shiny look of it. After all, it's Mardi Gras mask. You gotta have glimmer and glamour in a Mardi Gras mask. So I bought these flosses that she had to make the mask, and also and I never anymore stitch on Aida cloth, but this one is shiny, and that's what they used. So this has some shimmer in it. You can't see it on the camera, but there's a shimmer to it. Then I said, you know what? I want a needle minder. So this one to put on the work. This one says New Orleans, and it's like a mask, and that's from the Quarter Stitch. So I don't know when I'm going to start this, but I'll have it, and when I stitch it up, it'll be a reminder of me in New Orleans. And that's all my acquisitions that I have from New Orleans. So that's what happened that day. So we went walking along. They went to the World War II, and I went shopping to all these shops. I found these sock shop that had cool socks and sayings, and they contributed to different organizations. And then I'm trying to think. So that night, I think that night we went out to eat at a fancy restaurant because my brother insisted on going because it's the experience. And let me tell you, these fancy restaurants with these names on it, that's all it is. So we went to a restaurant called Emerald's, I guess named after Emerald Lagasse, the chef. The ambience was nice, but let me tell you, if you ever go there, eat before you go. The portion size was so small. So, but it was tasty, it was good, and it was so funny. I don't mean to say this, but my son and my boyfriend got a steak. It was like the size of a, like a golf ball. It was so small. And when my boyfriend cut into it, he would say, well, this is about, one taste was about $10.50 worth, and you take 5 bites, and that was the meal. It cost like so much money for that piece of steak. And it's all about the name of the place and the atmosphere. It was delicious, but was it worth that kind of money? I'd have to think about that. So we went to that fancy restaurant, and then the next day, half the family went. We were going home that night, and half the family went, or most everybody went, took a long drive to Vicksburg in Mississippi. It's a battlefield. They all wanted to see that. We knew we couldn't go because we have to catch our plane. So again, we walked around to all the little shops. We ate dinner at lunch at a local place where they had a band, and then we got ready to go. Good thing I looked on the airline app because it was delayed. It was delayed an hour and a half. So by the time we got to the airport, then it was delayed some more and some more. We didn't get into Florida. Our flight was supposed to be at 6:35, and it's only a 2-hour flight, 2 hours and 10 minutes. Well, we didn't get home into my place until 12:45 a.m. That's insane. So that's how it ended on that. And I caught a little bug, a cold or something, I'm not sure, but I'm trying to kick it out before Thanksgiving because we're visiting family there. So I'm not going to ramble on. It was a great vacation. I love talking to you about it. I hope you guys will join in on our make-along. It's going to be called the Adventurous Mal. So come join us. You could use anything in your stash, any minis, any scraps you have, and come, join us. If you have any questions, you can comment below. If you wanted some ideas, just ask. We're here to help you. We want you to have fun with us. So until then, I wish you love and peace in your life, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye, everyone. Bye.
Yeah, she worries me so. Mother-in-law. If she would leave us alone, we would have a happy home.
Say hi.
Mother-in-law.
Look up.
Mother-in-law.
This is at the St. Louis Cathedral where they had a scavenger hunt and the theme was Alice in Wonderland. This was at a praline shop. How cool is this ceiling at the Airbnb? This is a karaoke station at the Airbnb. Me finally getting to wear my knitwear in a cold climate.